There's lots of problems out there, and neither citizens nor policymakers can pay attention to all of them. So what determines which problems garner the attention of policymakers and get acted on? According to the multiple streams framework for understanding policy change, at least 3 streams must come together to create a policy window of opportunity for things to get done. Problems, such as rampant food waste, are the first stream. The second stream is policy, or more precisely, policy alternatives. These are potential solutions to the problem. They are generated by the policy community, that is, by government, scientists, civil society groups, industry, and private consultants. Policy alternatives are more likely to be acted on if they can be easily implemented, are cost-effective, and reflect values shared among the policy community and the public. So, for example, I've been working lately with groups concerned with food waste who are advocating for legislation that would standardize food date labels. These are those best if used by, sell by, or used by date labels that you might ponder over when deciding whether to throw out food in the refrigerator. In the US, each food company decides whether to use labels, which labels to put on the food, and how to determine the dates on the labels. Consumers are confused and end up throwing out food that might be perfectly good. This confusion contributes to Americans throwing out $444 billion worth of food annually. The standardization of such labels is relatively easily implemented. After all, the EU has already standardized food date labels. Such legislation reflects shared values about not wasting food and does not cost extra for consumers, companies, or the government. Remember I mentioned that there are 3 streams in the multiple streams framework? We have already covered 2 of them, problem and policy. The third stream also begins with P, politics. In deciding which policies to support, politicians consider the interests of the citizens they represent, as well as pressure from interest groups. All 3 streams, problem, policy, and politics, must come together at the right time for new policies to be passed. For example, the forest fires in the US made people aware of the problem. The Biden administration and NGOs have offered policy proposals, but the politics for climate change policy are stymied by the political rights hold on Congress. In short, even though the problem and policy are coming together, new legislation may not get passed. It may be time to work on changing the politics to replace anti-climate legislators with those more attuned to the climate crisis, or to wait until a super strong hurricane or typhoon focus the attention of more right-leaning politicians on the changing climate. Advocates need to be alert to these policy windows of opportunity and be ready to push forward policies when the 3 streams, problem, policy, and politics, come together. So far, we have problem, policy, and politics that come together to create a policy window of opportunity. Policy entrepreneurs, that is, individuals or groups that push forward a new policy, complete the picture. Policy entrepreneurs are politicians as well as people like you or me who invest time and sometimes money or even their reputation or safety to change policies. They establish ongoing relationships with those in power, and they act as part of a policy community of government employees and civil society advocates who share similar concerns. Policy entrepreneurs are persistent, but also quickly leverage windows of opportunity to help people in power see how the problem, policy, and politics come together.